The corridor smelled like expensive wine and fresh bread. I could hear laughter spilling from the private dining room, the kind of bright, performative laughter that comes when people are trying too hard to have a good time. My black dress felt wrong. Too simple. Too understated for whatever production my sister Vanessa had orchestrated for her 30th birthday. I smoothed the fabric, adjusted the gift box I'd wrapped in silver paper with white ribbon, and read the place card one more time. Table corridor. Not even a number. Just corridor. Behind me, servers rushed past with trays of appetizers. Ahead of me, through the frosted glass doors, I could see the main dining room. String lights stretched across the ceiling like captured stars. Every table inside shimmered under the chandeliers. Vanessa stood at the center in a champagne-colored dress that probably cost more than my monthly rent, holding court like royalty. The doors opened. Vanessa's boyfriend, Marcus, walked out, saw me and stopped. "Oh," he said. "You actually came." Not hello. Not glad you're here. Just surprised that I'd shown up at all. I forced a smile. Wouldn't miss it. He looked uncomfortable. "Vanessa's about to give a speech. You should probably." He gestured vaguely at the corridor. "Stay here. She gets nervous with crowds." I'd been watching my sister perform for crowds since we were kids. She'd never been nervous a day in her life. But I nodded. Of course. Marcus disappeared back inside. Through the glass, I watched Vanessa tap her champagne flute with a fork. The room quieted. She smiled. That practiced, camera-ready smile she'd perfected over the years. "Thank you all so much for coming," she said, her voice carrying easily. 30 feels like such a milestone, you know? A time to celebrate everything I've accomplished. Everything I've built. Applause rippled through the room. I'm so grateful to be surrounded by people who've supported me. My real family. The people who actually matter. She paused. Let the words sink in. Then her eyes flicked toward the corridor. Toward me. And her smile sharpened. "Unlike some people," she continued, voice dripping with casual cruelty, "who've always been the family charity case. But hey, at least she showed up this time." Laughter erupted. Not all of it comfortable, but enough. My mother, seated at the head table, adjusted her necklace and said nothing. My father raised his glass. Marcus laughed the loudest. Something cold and final settled in my chest. I stood. Smoothed my dress. Walked through those frosted glass doors into the dining room with my head high and my gift box steady in my hands. Every eye turned to me. I walked to Vanessa's table, the center table of course, decorated with white roses and gold candles, and placed my wrapped box carefully among the other gifts. Silver paper. White ribbon. The kind of presentation Vanessa always demanded. Then I turned and walked out. No words. No tears. Just the sharp click of my heels on marble and the quiet hum of a decision made. Vanessa was always the golden child. When I got my first job at 16, my parents celebrated Vanessa's audition for a community theater production. When I graduated top of my nursing program, they threw Vanessa a party for getting an influencer sponsorship deal worth $500. When I bought my first car with money I'd saved, they co-signed Vanessa's lease on a luxury SUV she couldn't afford. The pattern was familiar. Expected. Almost comfortable in its consistency. But the money, that was different. It started when I was 22. Vanessa needed help with rent after her roommate moved out. Just $800 to cover the gap. "Just this once," my mother said on the phone, her voice tight with worry. "You know how hard it is for creative people to get started." I transferred the money that night. Then it was her credit card bill. $1,200. "She's going through a tough time," my father explained. "You've always been so good with money. She needs you." Then her car payment. Her phone bill. Her dental work. Her trip to Cabo. Her deposit on a new apartment when she got evicted from the last one. I kept records. Not because I planned to use them, because I'm a nurse and documentation is what I do. Every Venmo transfer. Every check. Every late-night call from my mother asking if I could help out just one more time. 53 times over 8 years. $94,750. $94,750. And not once, not a single time, did Vanessa say thank you. Instead, she posted Instagram photos from beaches I'd never seen, restaurants I couldn't afford, concerts I'd never attend. Her captions were always the same. Living my best life. So blessed. Dreams do come true when you work hard. She never mentioned who was paying for those dreams. Vanessa's 30th birthday party cost $15,000. I know because I paid for half of it. She'd rented out the entire private dining room at Bella Vista, the most expensive restaurant in the city. 75 guests. 5-course meal. Open bar. A photographer to capture every moment for her Instagram. My mother called me 3 weeks before the party. The deposit's due tomorrow. Vanessa didn't realize how expensive everything would be. Can you cover half? Just until she gets her next brand deal. She'll pay you back. I transferred $7,500 that afternoon. My name was on the invoice. My credit card on file. The venue manager had my contact information as the primary client. But Vanessa told everyone she'd saved up for this party. That she'd planned everything herself. 5 minutes after I left the restaurant, my phone started vibrating. I was already in my car, engine running, hands steady on the wheel. I turned it off without looking. Inside that private dining room, the venue manager, a woman named Patricia Chin who I'd spoken to 6 times about menu selections and seating arrangements, had noticed my wrapped box. She'd recognized the silver paper, the white ribbon, the name on the card. And when Vanessa reached for it, when she started to tear it open with that entitled smile still on her face, Patricia had stopped her. "Actually," Patricia said, her voice cutting through the lingering laughter, "I need to speak with you about something first." The box didn't contain a gift. It contained copies of every invoice, every contract, every email chain with Patricia about menu selections, seating charts, deposit schedules. Every bank transfer showing my name, my account, my money. And on top, printed on cream cardstock in clean black letters, "Happy 30th birthday. I paid for half this party. You told everyone I'm a charity case. The truth is you've been living off me for 8 years. $94,750. You're welcome." Beneath that, a second note. "The venue manager can confirm everything. Enjoy your celebration." I drove to my apartment, the modest 1-bedroom I'd furnished carefully with savings that should have been twice as large, and changed into sweatpants and an old college t-shirt. I made tea. I sat on my couch and watched the city lights blink on as the sun set. My phone, still turned off, sat on the coffee table like a grenade. I didn't turn it on until the next morning. 43 missed calls. 67 text messages. My mother's voicemails ranged from confused to angry to desperate. My father sent a single text. "This is unacceptable." Vanessa's messages started with shock and ended with rage. "How dare you humiliate me like that? At my birthday? In front of everyone? You're pathetic. You've always been jealous." Marcus sent nothing. But there was one message I didn't expect. It came from a number I didn't recognize. "Ms. Harper, this is Patricia Chin from Bella Vista. I wanted to let you know that after you left last night, I confirmed everything in your documentation to the guests. I thought you should know that several people asked me for your contact information. One of them said he was a lawyer. His name is David Russo. He asked me to pass along his number. He said what your sister did might constitute financial exploitation, and he'd like to speak with you about your options." David Russo called me that afternoon. His voice was calm, professional, the kind of voice that made you believe things could actually be fixed. "Ms. Harper, I was at your sister's party last night. I'm a friend of one of her guests, someone from her yoga studio, I think. I saw what happened. I saw the documentation. And I need to tell you something. What your family has been doing to you for the past 8 years is textbook financial abuse." I closed my eyes. I gave her the money. Voluntarily. "Did you? Or were you coerced? Manipulated? Told repeatedly that you were responsible for helping because that's what family does?" The words hit like a punch. "Ms. Harper, I specialize in family law and financial exploitation cases. I've seen this pattern dozens of times. Adult children who are financially stable being systematically drained by family members who refuse to support themselves. It's abuse. And it's actionable. I don't want to sue my family. I'm not suggesting you sue. I'm suggesting you protect yourself. Document everything. Send a formal cease and desist letter. Establish legal boundaries so they can't continue to take from you." I was quiet for a long moment. "There's something else," David said. Your sister told people you were a charity case. In front of 75 witnesses, many of whom I assume are her social media followers and business contacts. She made false claims about your financial situation to damage your reputation. That's defamation. And it's also actionable. What are you saying? I'm saying you have options. You don't have to be their ATM anymore. And you don't have to let them rewrite history. The fallout was immediate and brutal. Vanessa posted on Instagram that night a long, emotional caption about family betrayal and people who can't be happy for your success. She claimed I'd always been jealous and that I'd tried to ruin her special day out of spite. The comments were vicious. Hundreds of her followers calling me petty, bitter, cruel. But then something shifted. Patricia Chin, the venue manager, left a comment. I was there. I saw the documentation. Emma Harper paid for half this party. She's been financially supporting Vanessa for years. Everything Emma revealed was true. I verified it myself. The comment stayed up for 20 minutes before Vanessa deleted it. But screenshots had already spread. Within hours, people who'd been at the party started sharing their own stories. Private messages. Comments on Vanessa's older posts. One of her yoga studio friends wrote a detailed thread about how Vanessa had bragged for years about never asking family for money, while posting photos from expensive trips. Another guest, someone from her networking group, revealed that Vanessa had once tried to recruit her into a pyramid scheme, claiming she was financially independent. The truth was eating through her carefully constructed narrative like acid. David Russo sent the cease and desist letter 1 week later. It was formal. Emma Harper is no longer available to provide financial support to Vanessa Harper or any member of the Harper family. All requests for money, loans, or financial assistance must cease immediately. Any further contact attempting to coerce, manipulate, or guilt Ms. Harper into providing financial support will be considered harassment and will be addressed through legal channels. My mother called 6 times that day. I didn't answer. My father sent an email calling me ungrateful and selfish. I deleted it without responding. Vanessa sent a text, "You're dead to me." I blocked her number. Marcus, Vanessa's boyfriend, called me 2 weeks later. His voice was quiet, strained. "I didn't know," he said. "About the money. About any of it. Vanessa told me her parents paid for everything. He told me you were difficult, that you resented her success." I said nothing. I found credit card statements in her desk. She's $40,000 in debt. She hasn't paid rent in 3 months. She's been lying to me about everything. I'm sorry you had to find out that way. I'm the one who should apologize. I laughed at you. At her party. I thought you were just jealous. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. I'm leaving her, he said. I can't be with someone like that. David Russo showed up at Vanessa's next big event, a brand launch party she'd organized at a downtown gallery 3 months later. He didn't come to confront her. He came to observe. Vanessa was fundraising, telling potential investors she was launching a wellness lifestyle brand and needed capital. He had a whole presentation. Projected revenue. Market analysis. Photos of her lifestyle that she'd built entirely on my money. David recorded everything. Then he stood up during the Q&A portion. "Ms. Harper," he said, his voice calm and clear. "I'm David Russo. I'm an attorney representing your sister, Emma. I'm here to inform you and everyone present that the lifestyle you've been presenting as proof of your business acumen was funded by $94,750 of your sister's money over 8 years. Money you never repaid. Money you never acknowledged. Would you like to address that with your potential investors?" The room went silent. Vanessa's face drained of color. Her jaw locked tight. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. One of the investors, a woman in her 50s with sharp eyes, spoke up. "Is that true?" Vanessa's voice cracked. "That's a private family matter. He has no right." "I have documentation," David said. "Bank transfers. Invoices. Communications. All of it. And I'm prepared to provide it to anyone who's considering investing in Ms. Harper's venture." People started standing, gathering their things. The room emptied in less than 5 minutes. Vanessa stood alone in the center of the gallery, her champagne-colored dress suddenly looking too big, her expression shattered. The brand launch never happened. 2 years later, I live in a bigger apartment. Better neighborhood. Floor-to-ceiling windows with a view of the park. I got promoted to head nurse in my department. I traveled to Iceland, to New Zealand, to places I'd dreamed about but never thought I could afford. I don't speak to my parents. I don't speak to Vanessa. And I'm fine with that. My mother tried once to reconcile. She showed up at my apartment with flowers and tears, saying I'd overreacted, and that family forgives. I looked at her and said very calmly, "You're right. Family should forgive. But you're not my family anymore. You're people who used me. And I'm done being used." I closed the door. Vanessa sent one final message on my birthday last year. No apology. Just, "I hope you're happy now that you've destroyed everything." I didn't respond. But the answer was yes. Because here's what I learned. Silence doesn't protect anyone. It just teaches people how small they can make you. The truth is, you don't owe anyone a smaller version of yourself just to keep the peace. Real love doesn't demand your bank account as proof. Real love doesn't drain you. And families built on taking always collapse when you stop giving. Sometimes the loudest revenge isn't a scream. It's the sound of your lawyer standing up in a room full of people and telling the truth. If you've ever been pushed aside by the people who were supposed to love you, know this: walking away isn't weakness. It's the beginning of freedom. Tell me, have you ever had to walk away from your own family? Share your story in the comments. And if you want more real stories like this, make sure you're subscribed. You're not alone.